Good morning. So this video is going to be about distinguishing between your cross and a bondage. So a cross and a bondage, and what to do to kind of identify which one it is that you're really struggling with. I'm going to go over a little bit of information about what I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to explain it towards the end. And I may not talk about all of it. I don't know. Okay, so a cross versus a bondage. So a cross could be something that you were born with, or a circumstance that you are given that you are not able to get rid of, or you have to stay in that circumstance for the glory of God. Or you were born with this thing or whatever for the glory of God, versus bondage that you put yourself there, kind of type of thing. Like you put an idol in place of God, or a continual, basically an idol in place of God. That's basically it. Because a continual sin leads to death, and there's repercussions for everything, right? We have repercussions for everything. And the way the Bible described people that back then, right? People that are poor were usually people that were overburdened by their sin. So it was not so much the focus on the financial part, the money part, but it was more like you were poor because you were so overburdened with sin that you were not able to do everything that you needed to do, like working or whatever that you needed to do to make ends meet or to prosper financially. So when they said poor, it meant more like spiritually poor type of thing in the Bible times, okay? So when you look at the cross versus bondage, in order to distinguish the two, like, am I born with this? Am I called to this circumstance? Or did I put an idol in place of God, and now I'm in bondage and I feel like I'm trapped and I can't get out? Versus a cross, you still could feel like you're trapped and you can't get out, but it's for the glory of God. And that's the distinguishing factor. It's for the glory of God, okay? And the resolution, I wouldn't say resolution, I would say more like to help you discern if this is your cross, or if this is like the bondage that you are struggling with, and okay, I'm not gonna go on a tangent. Okay, to kind of help distinguish between the two, it would be do a 40-day fasting. Do a 40-day fasting. Do it. So only fast for those 40 days. And if you fall, if you accidentally or like you just, you can't resist or whatever, if you fall, get back up. Get back up. Continue on your fasting. Okay? Continue on your prayer. It's not going to be easy. I'm not saying you're going to get it done the first time. Obviously, if it's a bondage, like you know what I mean? Like, you're going to struggle with the fasting. And when you fast, I want you to fast from that thing that you are in bondage to, that you struggle to get out of, that you know it's unhealthy, but you feel helpless to leave, or you feel helpless to go the healthy route, whatever that bondage is. Because there's different bondages, right? There's different types of idols. There's the idol of addiction. You could be addicted to something. There's the idol of, like, let's say codependency. You're very obsessed with the person and you can't get away from them, and you don't know what it is, and then you end up feeling bad for them, and the whole cycle of abuse happens. And so there's so many types of bondages. There's so many types of idols. There's so many types of sin. But nevertheless, that would kind of help you distinguish between the two. And then as far as your cross, now I'm explaining it basically. So as far as your cross, this is something you're born with. Like, so let's say that, and for the glory of God, you need to remember that. Is this for the glory of God? And I don't mean to put yourself in a situation where you're being physically, emotionally, mentally abused, and you're like, oh, this must be my cross. I mean, no. Like, it's your cross if, let's say, if it's your elderly parent. If it's your elderly parent, let's just say that it's your mom, it's your dad, and like they can't get around the house, or they can't, you know what I mean? And like you're the only child and you guys don't have the financial means to, you know, maybe get a nurse to help or whatever, then yeah, I mean, like that's your cross. That you're gonna give glory to God by honoring your parents and taking care of them because you're the only child. And I mean, it is what it is, right? If there's no other way, you know what I mean? And even with that, there's ways that you can kind of like give back to yourself. But that's gonna be the main thing, is that do the 40-day fasting. Fast from the thing that you feel like you're in bondage to. And like I just said earlier, let's say if you have to take care of your elderly parents or something like that, come on now. You're not gonna fast from 40 days of taking care of your elderly parents. They would die. You know what I mean? If they need you. So I'm saying like fast from the thing, like if it's actually, because that one, I think that one is pretty clear that it's your cross, you know what I mean? But let's say it's not clear. So what you would fast from would be the thing that you're in bondage to. And if you don't know which, this is your cross or bondage, because you know sometimes I guess the line could become very blurred as far as like, is this my cross, or is this a bondage? Is this an idol, or is this, you know, something that, you know, I'm going to show God glory, right? So again, 40-day fasting. Fast from that one thing, from all sexual activity, every single type of sexual activity, sexual intimacy. I mean, even kissing. Fast from kissing. Fast from, you know, if you wouldn't, you know what I mean, sexual intimacy. Like fast from all of that, all of it. Basically, if you wouldn't, no, I can't even say that because, you know, there's some people that probably would, but just fast from all sexual activity, anything that stimulates lust or anything, you know what I mean? Okay, fast from that. Fast from any candy, cookies, anything, snacks. Basically, just stick to a plain diet. Water, meat, fruits, vegetables. That's it. And if you need like, you know how like they have like those complete meals like that, you could just literally put powder and water and blend it in the blender, and then you just drink it and it has your nutrients or whatever. If you need to do that, because I know, you know, we all have busy lives or whatever, and you're like, well, I don't have enough time to be cooking all this and meal prepping, and you know, you can boil some eggs, eat them, whatever. But anyways, so that's gonna be the gist of your fasting. It's just you're gonna abstain from all sexual contact. And if the thing that you're struggling with, if it's a person that you're dating, or if it's somebody that you have no obligation to, fast from them for 40 days. Complete for no contact. And you could let them know, go like, hey, like I'm gonna enter into a fasting, into a prayer and fasting, and I invite you to join me in that prayer and that fasting. I invite you to do that with me. So for 40 days, you know, I'm gonna start it on this day and end it on this day. I'm gonna fast and I'm gonna pray, and here's what I'm gonna do. I invite you to do this with me, to support me in my prayer journey, But if you can't, I ask that you respect my time and my growth in the Lord. Something like that. Let them know exactly when you're going to start, when you're going to end that fasting, so they don't feel like you're like completely abandoning them. And I guess it shouldn't matter if they're like your bondage and all that. But I mean, we all have hearts, and we all don't like people suffering. So do that. Let them know that, and then do your 40-day fasting. And let's say that you can't get away from this person for whatever reason, like financially or whatever is the reason. At the bare minimum, no sex. Yes, I said it. No sexual intercourse, okay? No, any of that. Just none of it. No, not even kissing. Not even kissing. And I would even say, it's probably gonna be too hard. If you can try not to use a lot of words, like, keep your words very minimum. Only say the things that you have to say. I mean, that'd be cool. But if you can't, I know that one's probably like too hard in addition to all this. But yeah, at the very minimum. And then you will know at the end of the 40 days, after praying every single day, right? You're going to be fasting from these things, and you're going to know, is this my cross, or is this something that I put in place of God? Is this an idol? Did I put this thing in the place where only God belongs? And since I'm codependent, I put all my love and energy on this one idol that became my bondage, instead of putting all my codependency on the Lord, right? So yeah, so that would be really good. So I challenge you and I invite you to do the 40-day fasting to distinguish between the two. And some of the Bible verses that come up, I just didn't want to make this video too long, but some of the Bible verses that come up, as far as for the cross, reminds me of like Paul, when Paul said like, Lord, like, I think he referred to it as a thorn, like a thorn or something like that. He's a like, take this thorn away from me, like take this pain, like take it away. I don't know what Paul's thorn was. I don't know what Paul felt tortured by it. I don't know. Maybe let me know what that thorn was. But Paul even said that, and God said, what do you say? My strength is sufficient in your weakness. So God did not take that thorn away. Just letting you know. So is it for the glory of God? Or did you, or is this a bondage and you could break free, right? So that would help. And then another Bible verse that comes to mind is when Jesus Christ died on the cross, he said, pick up your cross and follow me. Pick up your cross and follow me. So sometimes we have a cross. Not sometimes. We all have, God, as God's children, we all have a cross to carry. Now, what is your cross? I don't know. But we all have a cross. But we don't all have to be trapped in bondage. So God said that, pick up your cross and follow me. Everything you see me do. Because we are here to serve, and not to be served, but to serve and to show who Christ is in us. But like, and this is like for codependency, right? Like as far as like the bondage part, that doesn't mean to give to the point that we are no longer giving to ourselves, and that we feel depleted, exhausted, and bitter when we don't get what we give back, or even a small tiny percentage, or it's met with hostility, whatever. So that's what this reminds me of. So I invite you to do the 40-day fasting. Again, I said it's not going to be easy, I don't know. But I invite you to share with me your experience. And I believe God will do lots of miracles. Oh, and another thing. So good. I'm going to say this. In your fasting, in your fasting and in your prayer, if you can pray for somebody, for anybody, I don't know, only you know who needs help, someone that you really care about, someone that you really love, make it very personal, someone that you have in your life that you know is suffering, and to see them suffer makes you suffer, and you want them to prosper in life, but they are hurting, or they themselves are in bondage, a different type of bondage, and you could see it's not healthy for them, type of thing. Pray for them. Pray for them. Or pray for anyone else, in addition to praying for yourself. Pray for anyone else other than yourself in your time of prayer. Be consistent with this person, with this, whatever you're praying for, be consistent in your prayer. Because when you pray for somebody else consistently, and you fast for somebody else for those 40 days, let's say, when you do that, God will always bless you, no matter what. Like, I am telling you this right now. Like, if you fast for somebody else, like you see someone in pain, and you fast for them for 40 days, you know what I mean? They could know, they could not know. You don't have to tell people when you're fasting and praying for them, right? Unless it serves a purpose to let them know some way, somehow. Maybe they want to join you in the fasting. I don't know. But when you fast for someone else other than yourself, a selfless, right? It's a selfless action. When you fast for someone else, I'm telling you this right now, God will bless you in abundance. Because I have never known in the whole history of my existence, which of course is not probably a lot, right? Not a lot of years. Just kidding. But anyways, in my whole history of my existence, I have never heard of someone fasting and praying and not being blessed. When you pray for somebody else and you fast for somebody else, this is a complete selfless act, let's say. God will always bless you, because you could never, and I mean never, I'm telling you right now, never, you could never outgive God. You will never outgive God. You could think you're doing this selfless action of praying and fasting for somebody else that is suffering, and you think you're like, oh, I'm doing all this selfless action, and like, I'm not going to get nothing out of it, and like, I am so miserable, I just want to stop, like, it's not worth it, they're not going to stop, whatever. You could think that, but oh man, God will bless you. I'm telling you right now, you could never outgive God. And yes, this video went long, but it could have gone longer. So I just wanted to do this video to help you kind of like identify between, is this your cross or is this the bondage? Is this something that is for the glory of God, or is this something that I put in the place of God, an idol? All right. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I love you guys. Bye.